It's time to get back to this thing here, the magnet machine. Earlier this year I shared a video of me doing an act in a studio environment of me juggling with the magnet machine. It's a really fun machine. It's a juggling success. I really enjoyed juggling with it. Lots of people really enjoyed the juggling routine that I shared. However, it's a mechanical failure, a design failure, a being able to take it out on the road and perform it kind of failure. So I've decided to start rebuilding it. I did a whole vlog about why it was a failure, but now on this video I'm going to share with you some of the goals of the magnet machine rebuild. We're going to make it mechanically solid. The thing with this machine is that often I would start the routine and it would break halfway through. There was very few times where I could just set it up, start juggling, and it just worked perfectly. And a lot of that is just to do with actually it was built kind of as a prototype. This was never the final version of the machine, or it should never have been the final version of the machine. Like, it's just bits of string here, and then these are like thin bits of wood paneling, really thin laminate stuff, and they would just break and crack like it has here. It would break here. Generally things would break, and I don't want it to break. I want everything to be super solid. Of course, it seems so obvious, but this was never really built with it being super solid in mind. So that's it. Mechanically solid is point number one. Point number two is that there can be no tuning. Normally, whenever I would set this up, I would get it there, but then all the strings would be a different weight, and I'd be having to untie bits of string and put them together again. And where they would hit up there, I could move the target points around, and generally, like, how hard I would need to put it, how hard I'd push down would change the way that the balls work in the air, depending on the length of the string. So the most important thing, or the second most important thing after being mechanically sound, is that it needs no fine tuning. Priority number three is that it has to reduce with bulk and weight. I built this as part of a bigger project with this big room that was around me, and these panels were here on the floor, and I would be pushing these switches with my feet, and the strings would go up to something that was attached to the ceiling solidly. And that was good, but then as soon as I took it out of that room, I had to put it on something else. I installed it on this stand, but never really reduced the bulk and the weight of this stuff at the top or the panels, even though now I wasn't using my feet and it wasn't attached to a ceiling. I was using my hands and it was on this floating frame. Never actually reduced the bulk and weight very much at all. So that's it. To make it not just easier to travel with, but to do a fresh redesign from the ground up, worrying about how much it weighs and how much space it needs to take up. So that brings me to point number four, is that not only do I may want to reduce bulk and weight, that I want it to actually fit in a case. My normal juggling case with all my normal juggling equipment in it. Previously, when I was traveling, I would have this extra bag, which was a real pain to carry around with because I just sort of made it quickly for the first time I wanted to travel with it. If I could fit it in this case, that would be fantastic. It means it'll have to fold down smaller or come apart into smaller sections, but that is like the fourth priority of what I want to do. Because when I actually built it, I didn't build it to be transportable, I built it to work at all. And I just found this clothes rack. All it is a clothes rack. You're normally meant to put coat hangers on this thing along the top here. This was then kind of built to fit around this clothes hanger, and then I didn't, like, clothes hangers are not designed to pack small into cases for flying internationally or traveling easily or just throwing it in the back of the car. So this is one of the main things I want to do, is that it can't be based around a clothes hanger. And talking of it being based around a clothes hanger, that's priority number five, is I want it to be more aesthetically pleasing. I mean, this is literally made out of like some bits of cardboard in here, string, bits of like weird laminate stuff, bits of wood, and these are broken, these sections. It's just like the aesthetic is all over the place. It looks like prototype project made by, 12-year-old boy, and I don't want it to look like that. I want it to look like a proper machine. I want it to have some kind, I'm not sure what the aesthetic will be yet, but some kind of aesthetic. So those are my initial goals, but there are some more. There's some stretch goals, and the first one is not just that it has to fit in my case, but that I want to maybe use this case as a base. So I don't need all of this frame and leg if it can just attach directly to the case, and the case give the stability down at the bottom end that would be fantastic. Though the case is a bit smaller, it's quite narrow compared to the width of the magnet machine, but that is something that I would love to do. The next stretch goal is the 5-ball height. One of the reasons why I use this, when I found it, I thought, oh, this is perfect, this coat hanger, because it can go up to different heights. So I can tune the height. Does it need to be this height? Does it need to be down this height? I can put it up high for 5 balls, bring it down for 3 balls or 2 balls or 4 balls. And that was a real big benefit to me. But when I actually started choreographing it, most of it was just with 1, 2, 3, 4 balls, and the 5 balls is like a bonus at the end. Now, as a stretch goal, I would maybe love it to go to 2 different heights. Lower for 1, 2, 3, 4 balls and higher for 5 balls. If the 5 balls isn't possible, going with the first 5 priorities, with it being mechanically sound, not need tuning, and moving different heights means different tunings. Reducing bulk and weight. Bringing it to 5-ball height might increase the bulk and weight. It might make it not fit in the existing case, and it might be tricky to do in an aesthetically pleasing way. If it is possible to do all of those things, I will include the 5-ball height version. Otherwise, that is going, and the whole routine can just revolve around the 1, 2, 3, 4 ball section, and I'll come up with a fun ending routine or ending section, finale section, which doesn't require extra height and extra balls, or both extra height and extra balls, and I can do something cool for the end of the routine. The final stretch goal is maybe including some lighting or lighting effects in it. I guess this is a 2-part one. One is that I could just put in some lighting into this, because I found that when I was performing, I was here and they'd shine lights down on me, and then this thing here, which is quite bulky at the moment, which I actually want to reduce the bulk of, but even though it will definitely be something solid above me, lights on me, I just had shadows across my face. So I think it might be interesting to find a way to put like maybe some LED lighting strips down here, like maybe across the front shining down and down below shining up. So me and all the juggling balls are always lit all the time from 4 directions at once, and I think that might have a really good effect. But again, this can't get in the way of it being mechanically sound, not fiddly, easy to set up, etc, etc. And I guess the stretch goal of that stretch goal is maybe having this programmatic. If I have LEDs around here, I could bring in Arduino. I have some Arduinos in a box that I'm not using. I could light up, I could put some switches here, so every time I press down on one of these pads, it'll flash a light. Every time a ball sticks up here, it could not just make a noise, it could also make some light. I see it's not working there. It could make a light flash or do something like that. I think that might be a bit overwhelming and detract from the juggling, but it's a stretch goal on the stretch goal that might work out. Also, I guess inside of all this as well, all these other things is to make it maybe a bit quieter, because at the moment it's a bit clanky and it sounds cool, but it would be nice to make it sound aesthetically pleasing rather than just look aesthetically pleasing. So I guess that's in the improved aesthetics and mechanically sound and less fiddly. So those are the 5 main stretch goals, 5 main goals and the 3 stretch goals, and I'm going to start working on it today.